Welcome back, Chiefs Kingdom. It is another week. It is Raiders week. You got to love that. If you haven't heard everything we've been talking about on Locked On Chiefs, go check that out because there's a lot there. And so now today we get back to me and Dan figuring out what this game plan has to be. If you're not subbed yet, do that right now. The click, the like, the sub, the bell, the thing, and the stuff. This is the podcast show, so we're gonna have a few.
Well, you're gonna have one. I'm not just trying to relax after my day. Just. Only thing I got in the fridge is Truly. It's like I haven't even gotten any beer lately. I've just been so busy.
We'll fix that at some point. But how are you hanging in?
I'm doing all right. Today was a lot of yard work, but my offensive review dropped over Arrowhead guys today. Actually, it was just Thursday, so this is going to be on Friday. So go ahead and go over there and read that. It's also got a nice little piece on McCall Hardman I know a lot of people are interested in that right now.
Right.
A certain entity on the Twitterverse made a comparison that it doesn't sit well with a lot of people. If you don't know what it is, he compared McCall Hardman to DeAnthony Thomas. So that's just what you guys should know about that.
I'm going to let you talk all about that because I ain't touching it.
Oh, man, I'll tell you what, it's a bad look. It's especially coming off an off season.
Yeah.
Where there wasn't one.
Yeah, we're not. Whoo, good Lord. So these Raiders, they're doing stuff.
They're not doing stuff great, though.
Right? And honestly, when you get back to it, we talked over the offseason, and I was pretty adamant that Derek Carr's better than his reputation. I think they've given him a couple of weapons. You saw in the first 2 weeks, he actually produced better. They were up, 30 points a game.
Mm-hmm.
They lost Ruggs. They kind of slipped back. Their competition improved as well, but I think that they're on the right path for what they have to do to try to compete. How do you feel about where they are?
I've got no issues with the way that their offense is moving. I think that they're in the right direction. Unfortunately, they do have a quarterback that will hold them back. I don't think Derek Carr is ever going to win them big games. I don't think he's going to win against the Chiefs. I don't think he's going to be able to put them, in the AFC West competition. There's a reason that Vegas has started giving the money back to paying out the Chiefs bets for winning the division. It's because the Chiefs are going to win the division. No one's afraid of Derek Carr-led Raiders, the hurt Broncos, or the hurt LA Chargers. Like, they're just not going to happen. That was something I don't want to get out there. It's so funny thinking that Vegas is just like, yeah, we'll start paying out the bets made on the Chiefs.
Right. When they're handing money out, it's serious.
Exactly. But I like Bryan Edwards a lot. He was, hurt a lot, unfortunately, at Florida State, and South Carolina. Carolina. He's hurt now again, so that's not looking good for them going forward. But Henry Ruggs is one of those guys that's going to make a difference as long as he continues to learn the route tree. He's going to make a lot of big catches, and I love Josh Jacobs. I think their offensive line's good. They're held back by a quarterback that can't elevate players around him unless they're already skilled. So when you look at that compared with their defense, what's like bottom 20 in the NFL and DVOA, it's not looking good right now.
Yeah, I'm with you there. I like Carr a little bit more than you, only because when you do give him some guys that have natural ability, I think they raise him up. So I'll take that. But Edwards isn't going to play, hasn't practiced all week. Ruggs barely got on the field on Thursday. We'll see if he can actually go. He's the guy that I was kind of hoping would end up in Kansas City, right? Because you put him and Hill and Hardman. And
you say that, but I mean, so much speed. I don't know if they would have. It would have been fun. I'll tell you what, it would have been fun. Now, we'll say fun, and then we'll leave it at that because it's an incredible thing to think about. It's a nightmare for defensive coaches. I can't even fathom when that's going to happen.
It makes it hard to defend them, and they're still hard to defend. And that brings me to my first part of the game plan is the Chiefs have to use their tools to exploit everybody. Jonathan Abram is good safety.
Good.
He can play in coverage. He can come up. That's fine. He can be manipulated too, and he doesn't have the long speed. So I want to see what we saw in years past, not so much so far this season, where they're trying to attack the deep safety. I think they're going to give them cover 2 looks with split safeties high. They have to go attack them with speed and get off the line of scrimmage.
Well, I think that defenses have come around to except for the Baltimore Ravens, have come around to the thinking of trying to stop the big plays of the Chiefs. We saw it with the Patriots this last week. They play a lot of single high man coverage. 8 men were dropping into coverage on almost every play, rushing 3, trying to keep Patrick Mahomes in the pocket, even though it does allow him time. There's 8 guys out there, so it's not easy to find gaps in that kind of a defense. And that's the idea, is to keep the top on and force the Chiefs to drive down the field. For me, I know that a lot of people are not going to like this. I think they need to run the ball a little bit better. They need to find a way to make the pick. So that's a bad way of saying it. They picked Clyde Edwards-Helaire at 32 to help make the running game more efficient when they run the ball. That's what I look at, and it's not looking good, and it's not mostly his fault. They're not getting much push up front on their inside and outside zone plays. They can't get into the second level. They're always meeting someone in the backfield. They need to be a little bit more physical up front, and we saw last week a little bit more power schemes, and they use some counters. They use some pitches with pulling, tight ends and tackles on these kind of, pitches to the outside that they did twice in the red zone, which they got 9 and 10 yards on both of those plays. Mm-hmm. And I think that's one way that they can help open up some deep shots downfield. If they can start running the ball a little bit better, not more per se, but better, then that's going to help open up that the defense to being exploited a little bit more for Patrick and these weapons.
Yeah, and I talked about it last week. When you run the pitch game, that's something that Clyde does well, and it gets you outside the tackles, where especially if they're going to try to load the box, most of the time players are going to drift in there. That's going to help you. I think they have to do some of that, but I think after last week, there's going to be some preparation there. And those 2 linebackers, Littleton and Kwiatkowski, can run. Okay. So, you're going to give them that. So that's my key is I want to see wide counters. Yeah. I want to see them give a jab step, because especially with Clyde being so quick off that step, you're not really losing as much timing. And so we can still accelerate to the outside. I'm with you there. And I'd love to see more run.
Yeah.
But the offense is what it is. I think the best matchup out there is still probably Kelce.
Yeah.
It just depends how much they're going to dedicate to stopping it.
That's true. And I mean, I probably said it a couple times just because I'm a big Sammy Watkins fan. I think that this is also a week that you can get him going. And week 1 was really good for Sammy. He was able to get in and out of intermediate parts of the field quickly and get first downs in chunks. And if Tyreek obviously brings a lot of attention from a defense. He's always going to do that. He's still going to get his plays. But I think that working in the middle of the field that defenses want you to do, not always take those deep shots down the field, Sammy's going to get open. He was open quite a few times against the Patriots, and sometimes it worked out, sometimes it didn't. That fumble, unfortunately, cost the Chiefs probably a touchdown. I think they were going to score on that play. But Sammy's dynamic with the ball in his hands, and they've played a couple of defenses that rally to the ball well. The Patriots, the Ravens, they were able to kind of shut him down from that aspect. I think, you get him on more slants, digs, anything deeper, intermediate parts of the field. Then that's when you start making him more of a weapon in defenses, then what are they going to do? You have to stop Tyreek, you got to stop Sammy, you got to stop Kelce, you add Clyde. It's just, I think that as much as Tyreek is a weapon, I think that if you can get Sammy Watkins going, that opens up this entire offense for just about everybody.
I like what you said about playing from the inside out. I want to see them stack in tight splits and work those out routes, attack those corners, because they're young and, quite frankly, they're susceptible. So let's see them do that. On the defensive side, the big thing for me is I want to see Bashaud Breeland play. I don't care that he's rusty. I know he is. It's fine. This receiving group is not that scary. No. Zay Jones, Aguilar of all people, is actually making catches.
I can't believe it.
I know, right? So the one guy that I think might have a little bit of an edge, because I want to see I got to do it this way. Breeland, Fenton, Ward. I want to see Fenton play inside. Let Breezy play for 2 reasons, because you have to defend Hunter Renfrow and Ruggs that are going to run routes out of the slot. And I want to see Fenton get physical with them.
Yeah.
He's got to watch it. He only gets the 5 yards, and they're going to be off the line of scrimmage, but he's got to be able to do that. But the thing that does, if you can play those 3, it lets Tyron go back and play the robber and play in between. And that's where he is going to take advantage of what Derek Carr doesn't see all too often. So that's my idea.
Yeah, I like the idea of trying to get physical with the slot receivers. That's where the Raiders are going to want to beat you. Them, those guys, and Darren Waller, who, I mean, let's be honest. I would love to see Willie Gay Jr. matched up with him all day. All day. Just put big on big, speed on speed, and let him go. I would love to see that. Now, are we going to get that? Probably not. I'm sure we're going to see a good amount of Dan Sorensen on Darren Waller in this game. And to be honest with you, I'm not entirely happy about that.
I couldn't tell.
He seems to have come down a little bit. That Super Bowl high where he played really well in the playoffs, and we're seeing a little bit of a regression from him from that level of play. And he's usually a sure tackler. He's not doing that at his level this season. Granted, off-season, no preseason. I kind of give leeway for the first 4 weeks because we're looking at kind of a preseason-esque type play. You're trying to get more comfortable. And so I'll give him leeway, and I'll look for a few more games to see that tackling coming through. But like I said, I think if they can stop Darren Waller, and I don't know his status for this game. I know that he's been dealing with some injuries, but still, Darren Waller at any percent is better than anybody in this linebacker core outside of Willie Gay. That's just how it is. He's going to be able to get plays down the field. He stretches the field as well as getting in the short and intermediate parts. But honestly, the run defense has not looked great. Again, that they just seem to have continual issues stopping the run. Mike Pennell last week, 11 tackles for a defensive tackle, pretty awesome. I mean, that's impressive.
Yeah.
They need to do a better job of staying gap sound. They did a really good job with the linebackers against Baltimore, and I feel like that was more of an energy game. They felt they had to come and stop the Ravens and make them throw to win that game. They didn't come with that same energy against the Patriots. And then they ran for, over 100 yards with a guy that just came off, an injury the previous week. So
literally,
I'd like to see them bottle up Josh Jacobs a little bit, because if he gets going, that does open up a lot of things for Derek Carr, who's not going to beat you straight up throwing the football. He needs that complementary run game. And if they can do that, then this could be one of those. No, I know they haven't happened a lot recently, but it could be one of those closer games between the Raiders that we've seen.
Yeah, I like where you're going there. I don't see it being close, but
I don't either. I'm just saying.
I thought we saw some good things from Willie. If you guys missed the video from yesterday, the breakdown of Willie, just a couple of plays, but just in taking on a guard, he's already light years ahead of what Hitchens does in general. Now, Damian will sometimes smack somebody in the face, and that's good. I expect to see him on Witten. They're going to run Witten again. He made a couple of nice plays. They don't have anybody else. You could do that. I would pay to see that, actually. But no, in all seriousness, you could probably put Wharton on him.
Yeah, probably. He's fast.
I know, right? That
so
play where he came from like 20 yards back,
is
incredible.
And
folks, I know we talk about plays that we haven't shown you yet. There's too many to show you.
Just look up Tashawn Wharton running down the ball carrier. You can find it somewhere on Twitter. I promise you it's out there.
If you can't, I'll throw it out there. Right, yeah, do that. But so I'm with you. So at the end of the day, what it comes down to is execution. I think they're going to give up some run to Jacobs because he is that good. But if they can lock down the rest and attack a little bit with Willie, I want to see him take on some more. I want to see them blitz him a little bit, but I think that will help. At the end of the day, I don't see this very close. I feel like I'm a little more out there on the edge. So why don't you go first?
I want them to come out ready for this game, but it's hard to be ready for a team that is not that good. They showed that last week against the Patriots with Brian Hoyer at quarterback. They didn't come out ready for that game. Granted, Bill Belichick did a great job game planning, as he always does. I feel like people refuse to believe that he just is very good defensive guy, and we're all freaking out about the offense. But they make adjustments at halftime. They scored the football. They did what they could do. They got that interception touchdown. The game was never close. It never felt close either. Even with 6-3, it never felt very close. Brian Hoyer was just not.
Yeah, he's Brian Hoyer.
There. So back to the Raiders. I don't think this game's going to be close, but I also know Andy Reid a little bit. I think they're going to get out to a lead, probably 24-3, 10-ish, and they're going to start running the football. Raiders will stop them, make it closer than it was. So I'm going to say that they're going to have 28 points. The Chiefs are going to score 28 points because they're going to put either that up in the first half or in one quarter again, and then the Raiders will score 10-17. So I'm going to go ahead and say 28-17.
I think Patrick's pissed off.
I hope so.
He's sleeping in a different room than Brittany. Last week, the game had to be won by the defense. I think he's pissed. So I think they jump out, and I think he keeps the hammer down for the first half. And I think you're right, Andy. We'll slow it down in the end. But I think at the end of the day, the defense is going to score again on top of that. So I think the gap actually stays pretty big. I have it 38-20. I think it's going to be fun.
I love Andy. I love him. But these games, I feel like that they just don't score a bunch. Like they score 28. Then they're just like, that's it. That's good enough.
It's enough to win.
I'm gonna predict that Juan Thornhill once again picks off Derek Carr for a touchdown.
Maybe that'll be the big play at the end.
What I'm going with.
That's going to get me my 38, folks. Let us know what you think. Leave your predictions down below. Give us the score and the whole 9 yards. Follow him at D_Harms19. You can follow.
Got it right.
See, I was almost done. You can find me on Twitter at Ryan Tracy NFL. Thanks for watching this one. Make sure if you're not there, hit the like, the sub, and the bell notification. We do this all the time, all week long. Honestly, we talk too much Chiefs, but there is no such thing. So
no such thing.
Enjoy your weekend. Enjoy this game. We'll talk to you in the post-game live afterwards. Have a good one. Thanks for watching this video from the team at RGR Football. Click these videos to see more and subscribe to RGR Football.